Do you remember Flippy the fish you gave me for my birthday that ate way too many brain dots and got super smart with psychokinetic power and robbed all those pet stores for their plastic fish tank treasure chest because he...
Okay, so a lot of animated movies came out that I couldn't get to individually, all of which are pretty recent. Dogman, Flow, and the new Wallace and Gromit movies are movies I wanted to catch up on. It would be a lot to cover each one in an individual movie thoughts. I thought, why not cover them all in one? So I'm gonna go over my thoughts on each one in more condensed segments, and this isn't mostly because I'm working on a bigger video that I realized wouldn't have been done in time for this month, as well as another for March, plus an exclusive video for Patreon. Please hop on over there and join to help calm my nerves. It's some good stuff over there just for a buck. But enough deal pushing, let's get to it. Based on the Captain Underpants spin-off series by Dave Pelkey, Dogman revolves around a game of cat versus dog as Petey the cat wreaks havoc on the city just to stop Dogman, originally known as a dog-cop duo. The villain Petey is a fearsome feline angry at the world. He clones himself to double his anger/evilness, but he learns a lot about himself through his clone. Crazy to think generational trauma would be addressed in a movie that has a cat jail in its world. I grew up reading the Captain Underpants books, including the Dogman side comics that were included with a few of them. By the time, though, they became full comics, I was basically off the Captain Underpants series. So going into this with the knowledge and familiarity of the franchise did help get me into the movie already, especially since I love the Captain Underpants movies and series in general. It meets all the expectations I'd have for a Dave Pelkey movie. Definitely wasn't expecting to have some real emotions to it. Even the Captain Underpants movie had its emotions to it, but this one also was able to keep up, not as much as that previous movie. There's some heart to the story as they don't just stick to jokes, though there's a joke a second with this film, like immediately they hit you with nothing but jokes. It's not afraid of what it is, but will still make an effective attempt at your heartstrings. There's tragedy to a half-man, half-dog that's been assembled together from the remains of the dog and his owner. What? On one hand, he used to be two individuals, now they're one, both with their lives being upended. On the other hand, he looks pretty awesome, honestly. He kicks ass. There's good emotion happening with Dogman since he pantomimes by default. So there's these nice quiet moments that add some depth to him. You will feel for a half-dog, half-man cop, even though the propaganda is very prominent in this film, which is kind of fine here since the whole police force basically relies on Dogman, one person, basically making them pretty ass police, especially if animal control might do better in this whole situation. But enough truth for a second. The animation is a nice stylized 3D version of Dave Pelkey's style. It definitely pushes the style more here than the Captain Underpants movie. It has a lot of gags right off the bat, which is expected for something as animal oriented as this. Of course, you're gonna get hit with as many dog and cat jokes and puns as possible for a movie. Every shot basically has a hidden joke in it. I challenge anyone to make a video on all the sight gags they place in every shot, but you'll still miss a few. Barring the blatant propaganda, this is a fun adaptation that, even though I only have a little bit of familiarity with the source material, I was able to have a lot of fun with. It very much is a just go with it type of movie with its setup and world. You don't question the science behind a man with a dog head, just like you don't question dog nigga. You what? If you're familiar with the source material, then this is a perfect movie for you. If you're going into this blind, then you might have a doggone good time with it. Stop. Okay, before we talk about this film, too many people made this movie because this opening logos are crazy. Not to pull a CinemaSins with the opening logos bit, but seriously, man, it was like a minute and 30 seconds. Jesus. It's damn near like that Family Guy joke with the theater with the realistic logos. But I digress. This is still an amazing film. Flow is something that I kept hearing about and was interested in, but I really didn't know what to expect going into this. But man, was I glad I didn't have any expectations because my mind was frickin' blown with this. The story follows a black cat trying to survive a flooding Earth as it's coming to an end. The cat travels through this world on a boat and befriends other animals like a dog, a lemur, a capybara, and I will name this thing in editing. I'm not sure what the hell this bird is as I'm recording this. The cat is the main animal we follow and it's a perfect protagonist. Cats are already hard to read, but this film captures real cats' expressions and sounds and puts them to the test by putting the cat in extreme situations. The constant peril this cat faces keeps you on edge since you don't want to see this adorable thing get hurt. It's obvious manipulation of the audience with the use of cute animals, but who gives a damn? I get to see cute animals. That's all that matters here. But the cat really is a strong protagonist that enhances the story here. It's all about learning to come together during trying times. Of course, there's a bunch of cute moments throughout this whole movie, but that doesn't mean this movie can't be intense. You're watching these helpless animals fend for themselves, all while dealing with their species differences. It's so interesting to see them have to play off of each other when there's clear language barriers between them. You can feel every animal's emotions here as they try to survive through it all. Each perilous environment change after the other, each annoying animal taking their resources, and it all reads perfectly with their expressions. They're subtle, but they're very easy to read and get across so much about these animals. A bird looking up in the sky doesn't give you a lot, but you can infer so much about that bird's story. You might feel pretty saddened by the world since it basically makes you think about climate change and all the destruction it's gonna bring, to which I say good. But it's an enthralling world with all the different structures the animals come across. They don't tell you what happened to the world exactly, but that's for the better. It should be left as a mystery that we never figure out because it's not important to these characters' journey. Their bond that helps them survive is. It relies heavily on visuals and it's all the better for it. My god, is this a gorgeous movie. You have to appreciate the technical aspects to this film. The animation is the star here. The composition, the motion, the texturing, the fact that they do so many of these long take shots to symbolize the movie keeping the flow of the story. The shocking thing to hear is that this movie was made all in Blender. Huh? Yeah. Blender, the free software that you can download right now. That is what they made this movie with. That is just inspiring. It just goes to show you don't need fancy equipment to make a masterpiece. There's not much else to say about this film. The characters are compelling, the animation is a leap in open source animation capabilities, there's adorable animals in it. What else could you ask for in a movie? It does everything right, all while keeping its flow. I always loved Wallace and Gromit, from the original shorts to the full movie. They, like many other kids, were my introduction to Aardman, as well as to the idea of the moon being made out of cheese. Why? I wasn't expecting to be given a new movie with Vengeance Most Fowl. I was in 6th grade when the last Wallace and Gromit movie came out, so it's really surprising to be in my 30s and getting a new Wallace and Gromit now, which, oh god. But anyway, Wallace and Gromit are back as Wallace invents a new robot gnome he dubs a smart gnome. Gromit is weary of the gnome, rightfully so, as it soon frames Wallace for crimes he didn't commit. Now it falls on Gromit to clear Wallace of his crimes and stop the real assailant. It's about Gromit worrying about Wallace's over-reliance on tech. Clearly not speaking about the AI hellscape that hopefully soon crashes and burns that we live in. With the gnome helping around and being more of a nuisance to Gromit but being more helpful to Wallace, you see the clashing of these two, as you can understand why Gromit wouldn't be so happy to have this little robotic machine all over the place.
That is disgusting!
There's still the bemusing British humor we know and love this duo for. Whether it's Gromit's anxious but put together attitude or Wallace's airheaded naivete that usually gets them into trouble, they haven't missed a step here. You get the basic problem of the two not quite understanding each other, which is more on Wallace's side, and of course you get frustrated at the miscommunication since it hurts their friendship, as you see. But it's Wallace and Gromit, you know how this duo do. The other side of the humor comes from the side characters like the retiring police chief and his replacement. It's not lost on me the propaganda is on display again here, as well as the fact that the black cop is the one talking sense about Wallace's innocence. But slick commentary aside, they are a fun duo that have a good butting of heads throughout the film. It's fun seeing the new having to take over for the old, especially in these trying times. Again, even though this is propaganda. Feathers McGraw makes a return and he's the obvious villain. Yeah, there's no mystery as to who hacked the gnomes and are causing the problems. Yeah, that's not a phrase I thought I'd ever say. But when has a lack of mystery been a problem for this franchise? Anyway, he's a menace as he is cute as ever. He still comes up with the evil plots that Wallace and Gromit have to stop. It's really effective here since it creates that no one believes the innocent person / misunderstanding conflict. The animation is that classic Aardman animation that we all love. That stop motion miniature set building style that everyone can't get enough of. There's just so much fine intricate details to look out for. It's that fine stop motion work that they thrive at. It's an absolute joy of a film. The humor is great, the character drama is simple, but effective. The fact that we got new Wallace and Gromit in the 2020s is nuts. You'd be running afoul not to watch this movie. But that's just a thought.